Some of these are just labeled.
Good morning, happy, not Monday, it's Tuesday. Happy post-office shuffle Tuesday. Like I mentioned in the channel this morning, if you guys are settling in and have any kind of technical issues or any missing equipment or anything like that, please do file a ticket in Confluence with Danison and Scott, and they will be able to help out. And I've linked that in the team operations channel. Otherwise, we'll kind of jump in. So, a few folks coming up today to talk. We'll start out with Ian, chat with Ian, and a Q&A. It'll be followed up with Richard, who has some really great slides in here. I think that there might be some fun surprises on finding contact info. Jeff is going to talk about Gusto and Stripe and global rules, a few changes on who's going to be kind of managing a couple of those things. Josh is going to come with a QS rollout, and then Zoe is going to cap us off with an in-app review alpha demo. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, we'll get started with Ken.
All right. Hey, everyone. I read this quote, I think when I was in business school, like 10 years ago. And I think back then it was kind of like, okay, I mean, this is one of the sort of seminal writers on management theory of the 20th century. And it was like, I mean, yeah, I'm okay. I mean, but are strategy and culture both important? And isn't, also something important? Over the course of my career, I've had the chance to observe different teams working for a context and succeeding or failing at projects. And I think since then, my view has definitely radically changed. Culture is so much more important than anything else you can be doing in business. I mean, I've seen teams with exceptional strategies, and all the things should be there to see them succeed, and because they just don't work together effectively as a team, the things don't happen. I've seen other companies where they don't even have an articulated strategy, and somehow they go and they kick the butt of every one of their competitors. And I think, a lot of Fortune 500 companies, they walk around kind of scratching their heads going like, how are these tiny little startups kicking our butts? And it's really culture. Culture is so fundamental to everything. It brings in the people. Culture is what creates those strategies. Like, it's not like strategies get sort of like dropped in from above and then people go execute. It's like, who are the people in the business who are picking up what these opportunities are? One of my favorite things about bench culture is how people care about doing a good job for our clients. And it's not like there's like posters up on the wall being like, care for the clients, and like, we shall inject this into the culture, because that's not how culture works, right? It's that we come here and we're actually proud of the work we do every day, and we see that we're making a real impact on people's lives. On pretty much every survey I've ever seen since Bench started, there's this question on, we add real value for our clients. And the response to that is always like 98% yes, right? There aren't, I don't know how many companies out there respond to 98% yes. Certainly Fortune 500 companies, it's like probably 10 or 15% because they're not really trying to add value to their clients. They're like, how do I hit investor milestones, right? So culture is fundamental. And if you guys have gone through Bench Academy probably in the last year and a half, you've probably heard me talk about these 5 things. I say, we have this handbook, and there's a lot in there, there's a lot to take in. If you only remember 5 things, 5 sort of subheadings, 5 kind of topics, we roll up to this. This isn't everything, but this is a good sort of like Cole's Notes version. First, like, we're creating this bench experience for each other. Like when we all come into this building, and how was your day? How was bench? It's how is your teammate next to you? We're really creating that experience for each other, and being mindful of that, and just being great teammates for each other. Thinking independently. So we're not trying to hire people who just come in and order takers and follow the instructions and like follow the guidelines and never deviate. The best innovation that has happened in this company has come from AAs and ATLs. So pretty much everything that we have in bookkeeping at this point is definitely evolved way farther than what I came up with in the first version. I didn't have MER, right? That's just a thing that an AA thought up one day and was like, this is probably an easier way to do the things. Like, let's do it that way. Independent thinking is really one of the most important things in our culture. Third, being open, just having open and honest discussions. If we're not open with each other, we're just not sharing the ideas. Openness really underpins everything else here. If we're not having honest conversations, how can you really think independently? Like, if we haven't shared the information with you on what our objectives are and what's actually really going on and what we care about, then how can you actually come up with ideas to help bring the team further? If we're not open, it's just not a great experience, and we're not being great teammates. I'm not being a great teammate for you if I'm not being open with you. High standards. I think we do a good job of talking about this a lot, so I'm going to talk about it less today. We want to build a global success story. We're a very ambitious company. And last, a long-term orientation. In startups, it's really easy to read startup stories and be like, wow, it must have been like 6 months from conception to this thing blows up. No, like anything that's interesting and valuable and helpful to people takes decades to build. Like, these are massive projects involving hundreds of thousands of people. This isn't like a innovative coder writes 10 lines of code and sticks it on a server and then they're a billionaire. Like, that's not actually how companies get built. That's kind of mythos. the thing I really want to talk about today is openness and how it can be more open. Compared to most companies, Bench is a very open company, but I think we can do a lot more to reinforce this. And actually, when I think about how am I doing as a leader, I think the one thing I can really be doing better is setting the tone of openness and letting people know, like, a lot of independent thought is upon the independent thinkers to come up with, but a lot of openness is about feeling like you have permission to be open and say what you're really thinking. And then, do you feel like you have to follow a script? Like when you're sitting down with the CEO, it's like, well, what's the CEO expecting to hear? And will he be upset if I don't say the exact thing that he's expecting me to say? That's closed culture. Open culture is, hey, am I authentically saying how I feel? And do I feel comfortable actually representing that? Or do I have to put on a face to be safe? So, in the spirit of setting that tone so that people really feel like they can be open, there's a few things that are going to be changing. So the first is we're going to be much more open about sharing information, both actively and passively. Passively in that I'm going to say, guys, you can ask me any question. I've said this a few times, I say it over time, I'll say it more. You guys can ask me any question. I can't answer every single question. Where openness sort of runs into a balance is against privacy. Obviously, if you're like, we're not going to internally publish everyone's social insurance numbers. That's, there's a limit to openness, specifically around privacy, but around pretty much anything else. And particularly around uncomfortable topics. So think of the topic that you least want to bring up with me about work, right? How do we talk about that? That's how we get to real open culture. And how are we going to get that openness? Well, one thing I've observed actually is a long time ago, 3 years ago, I guess, it's a long time, bench years, AAs would actually pretty regularly just set up coffee chats with me or reach out to me on Slack. The crazy thing that I've observed is actually in the last couple of years, I think I've had like precisely zero, maybe 1 or 2 AAs actually reach out to me for personal chat. So, and I realize this is really incumbent upon me to make it comfortable for people to know that they can do that and not be like, oh, am I the sore thumb that's like sticking out? So I'm just going to book a coffee chat with every single ATL and AA. We've done a good job growing, so there's a lot of people now. It'll take me a little while to get through everybody. But certainly by the end of July, I would like to just have like a personal chat with each of you and know what's going on with you and hear about your real concerns. And I think that sets a good bedrock for continuing an open discussion. So actually ops managers and Brittany have been working on this topic for a few weeks now, and I think we found these candy boards are actually pretty interesting. We've had a lot of success in making product suggestions. So the first thing that we're going to do is just have a candy board for what should change internally in operations. People team heard about this, and right away they're like, well, let's just have a bench-wide culture candy board. So that's probably coming in the next 24 hours. And we just really want to have conversations about what can we be doing more, what can be better. And actually some of the most interesting topics, I think, would be, what information do you not have that would be helpful? There's no information here, it's easy to get to passive information sharing, but active information sharing, for us to actually go out, and you guys have questions for us to go out and search it and make it available for everyone so you can easily see it. That takes a lot of work, and we're going to put some work into it. So we want to hear, what's the most interesting information for you guys? Every quarter we get up and talk about, here's the financial reports of the company. That stuff, again, default open. Any topic, unless there's specific privacy reason for it, is default open. It's okay to ask and encouraged to ask. So if you have questions about anything on our financials, anything investment related, anything compensation related, let's have those conversations. And the second thing is, what can we change to make things better for bench points and for our clients? We're gonna, I think ops managers, ATLs also have a lot of ideas, and instead of sort of having internal management conversations and having grand reveals about and here's the plan, what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick our ideas in the candy board and open those conversations up for everybody. Because part of openness is not us sort of having these private deliberations about the way things shall be and then announcing to the world. It's we all just think about the things. What kind of company do we want to build together? Right? There's no reason that has to be closed off secret conversations. And people shouldn't feel that they have to be that way. And people should that are in those conversations shouldn't feel that they are secret. It should just be guys, what do you want to do with the things? He was interested. He wants to talk about this. Let's go do it. So in keeping with like, I think this is a hot topic, and probably, if I was going to predict, what would an AA feel most uncomfortable about bringing up to me and talking about directly? And just like, look, let's have like the most, like, if I can think about probably the most uncomfortable conversation we can have, just have it right here. And so we can set a new tone on how open we feel with each other. So here's my current thinking, and sort of an, opening to a further discussion on this. This is like, this is how things shall be. This is here's what we're going to start talking about. As we get more efficient with our bookkeeping, that basically creates dollars that open up that we can allocate to one of three things. It can be allocated to AA pay, it can be allocated to margin, or it can be allocated to lower prices for our customers. So as you get more efficient, let's just be honest about and open about, hey, here's where we're going to spend those efficiency dollars. Is it going to be 40% AA pay, 40% margin, 20% lower prices? Is it going to be 30, 30, 40? 20, 20, 60, where all the other things add to 100. And then we'll just start publicly tracking, like where are we on efficiency, and what does that mean for AA pay, every quarter. It shouldn't be like every once in a while we'll decide how much AAs are going to pay. It's like, hey, let's make this company super efficient, create those dollars, and all share it together. AA should be successful, company should be successful, client should be successful, and they shouldn't be. It's not a zero-sum game. Like, we're creating more and more dollars that can be distributed among everybody. So I really like that to be where the conversation goes. In detail, what this looks like, I think variable comp, and again, this is not a and we shall have variable comp. This is the thing. This is what we're thinking about right now. So come talk to us about it. Variable comp creates really direct and immediate feedback on, like, as I'm handling more clients, I get variable comp. Really good feedback mechanism. It has to be really sort of like carefully done, because there's nothing worse than feeling like your variable pay incentives are set up in such a way that you do the thing that maximizes your pay that's actually not best for the clients and not best for bench. Like, we want to feel like all these systems are pointed in the same direction, we're all winning. So we're going to carefully and together design that. But like, let's start experimenting with this. Let's just get it out there. It's not like the design process is not like, and then there shall be like a 6-month consultation, then the government shall. It's like, no, it's let's just try doing the things and see where we want them to go. And if it doesn't work, then we'll try something else. So I'd really like to get at least an experiment in place the next 60 days. And if you're really interested in this topic, talk to Josh, Brittany, or myself. And hey, everyone's going to be talking to myself anyway, so I'll ask you about it. That's, oh yeah, last topic. So change in personnel, just so everyone knows, this is a question that came up, so just right before the Q&A. So Brittany is going to be reporting directly to me, so no change in sort of operations, all reporting up to Brittany. Brittany is one of the most exceptional young leaders I've ever worked with. I worked with Brittany for about 5 years. She actually started here as an accounting intern. And I think anyone who's ever worked directly with her would agree with me that she's just absolutely incredible, and just continually impresses me with her openness, her authenticity, and the fact that like there's no like agenda there. It's like, let's just make everything better. And that's why I'm so excited to work with you guys with Brittany. Ops planning is going to be important to Josh in product. That's going to really help us build a lot of our processes directly into flow. And what I'd really love to do is get more and more real-time feedback for you guys, so you can see how your clients are doing, how your portfolio is doing. There's going to be a lot of conversations about this. I'm sure everyone's sort of like seen the new charts and stuff. This is important to Josh. We can keep that moving along really quickly. Project managers now reporting to the range for our customers through product marketing. And people is going to continue reporting to Bonnie Powell, and she's now going to report to me. So that's how things look now. Open Q&A, like really open Q&A. And this is not going to be the last time. There's going to be a lot, like, part of this openness is like, let's meet a lot more than quarterly. Let's have a lot more Q&As. Like, let's actually have those questions. So we'll do 5 minutes of Q&A now. And if you think of a question after, feel free to Slack me, ask me during our coffee chat, or there'll be probably another Q&A in the next 15, 30 days.
If you could like magic wand wave, not that this is how our collaboration is going to work, if you could magic wand wave and change like your top 2 things, if there's bench or an operations, how we work, or a number, or a process, or something like that, what would you choose?
If I could magic wand, change anything immediately. That's interesting. I think the thing, I'd really like to have Flow give really good, really detailed sort of real-time feedback so that people can know how they're doing and not kind of guess, like know where every client is, know what needs to happen next, and know like overall, like one thing that I'm really excited, or I really want to talk to you guys about is I feel like it's not always clear like when you can go home. Like it's like never ending. No, seriously, it's like, you know, it's like when is the work done, right? And you should just have a like, you know, like okay, like this is like if you're below here, you're good. Just like yeah, enjoy your weekend, like or your night, like go home at 4, like kind of stuff doesn't matter. And it's not like I'm not really interested in productivity theater, right? I'm not interested in like, well, my butt's in the chair because it has to be because I get the paycheck here. It's like no, like what we're trying to do is have our clients have an amazing experience with Bench. And if you can do that in 6 hours instead of 8, like, I'm all for it. The other thing I forgot to mention, and something that's really important, is, you know, as we're increasing client loads from here, like, wherever we are now, I think it's, what, 55? Is that the sort of...
51 today.
Right. But there's some kind of, like, definition of a full portfolio. And I just want to just freeze that for good. Like any other like increases in efficiency or like additional clients should all be voluntary. It should all be based on variable pay. And you know, if you don't want more clients and you're happy with like not getting variable pay, you should be, and like enjoy the continued efficiency increases. And like hopefully you and sorry.
Then they can go home at 2 p.m.
Right, but like that's like again. I feel like that would just give a lot more autonomy, and that's just really important, I think, in life to like be happy. You know, you're just gonna like land on Monday, and then it's like here's a bunch more work, and guess what? Bench makes more money, and you don't, and you know, thank you for your like additional effort. Like that just doesn't feel right. It should be like, yes, I'm ready to take more clients. I'm excited about the variable pay, and I'm excited, you know, for lower prices for clients, and we're all building this thing together, not just sort of like getting dumped on people. So. Yeah, that's, I guess, my rambly sort of like 2 things I want to change.
So if you come up very okay, but I feel like that only applies to like keep up. How will you affect
So the question is, variable pay would affect keep up, how would it affect cash for trials? That is a very good question, let's talk about it. I think most of the efforts have been focused on keep up. That's not because only keep up shall be talked about and no one shall talk about the things other than the keep up. That's like, fantastic question. Well, sort of uncanny, how do we do that? How do we build that up too? Any more questions? All right, oh, Josh.
What's 1 or 2 mistakes we've made in the last year that you think we can improve upon?
1 or 2 mistakes we made in the last year. You know, I think personally, one mistake I made is not doing this earlier. Like, this is like purely a leadership thing, and this is completely on me. And part of my learning of like culture doesn't happen naturally, and it's really incumbent upon me and all leadership to reinforce that this is the way that we work, so people know that it's okay to work that way. So I'd say that's number 1, most salient, immediate. Anything else in mind that I'd be happy to talk about? Okay, go ahead.
I have an awkward question.
Let's do it.
As you want it. You talked a lot, it seems like a lot of things are changing, a lot of things happen after that notification we got in the last week goes quickly. So I was curious if you could touch on, you said that there was kind of differences of opinion, kind of what his opinion of where Bench should go versus where we're going now. Because it seemed like it's very people oriented. I'm just curious.
Yeah. And I'll give you a preamble before I answer your question, which is like this is always a tough topic for me to cover because this is right where like privacy bumps up against like, but how are you do things as a team, and it's like super salient for everyone to know that information. So bear with me, guys, as I feel like I don't know, no one has really designed a fantastic way to cover this stuff. But I'll and I just want to have like the utmost respect for Mike, and I think he's a great leader, and we have differences of opinion, but there's no like way that's right or wrong, but we do have to pick a way. In terms of the number one, I mean, yeah, you've seen a lot of things changing. I mean, the number one difference of opinion was really this, and to a degree of openness, and it's something that we've sparred about for a long time, and could never really get to consensus on it. So at some point I had to go, well, like this is really my vision for my company, and I'm not willing to compromise on it. Yeah, I don't know, any other questions about, I mean, I really don't want to talk about it, just, it's just a tough topic for me.
I guess to bounce off of that, you said in the email that it was important to you that AAs are like the center of what you want to focus on.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
That's a really good question. So I said that the AA is the center of what I want to focus on. Here's what I mean by that. I mean, we're really, like what we're selling is an AA service. That's like literally what customers come in and are buying. The software helps us do that, and it helps us do it more efficiently. But at the core of what we do, what we've done from day one, even though we didn't have as good tools or processes, it has always been about, I mean, I was the first AA. Like, just, I'd be at Techstars, trying to build this company, and I'd meet with people until 7 p.m., and then like from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. was bookkeeping time, and that was, when I was delivering stuff for people. And that's what everything is, and we can't forget that has to be the center. And there's so much stuff that goes into delivering a great service that you can't measure. Like you can't put a number on everything. Like you can't put a number on like people actually wanting to work for this company. You can't put a number on someone actually wanting to do a good job for a client and caring and like thinking ahead about like what they really need, even if they're asking for something different. And if you don't reinforce that, if you don't respect that, and instead just go by like, just productivity numbers and like, things we measure, performance reviews, all this kind of stuff, then a lot of that is lost. Like if you don't value it, then it goes away. And that's really the stuff that has made Bench great. Like it's not like fundraising or like offices or all this other like kind of like surface level startup stuff, right? It's the fact that like people really give a shit and they're out there every day busting ass for our clients, like and like really having their head in the game and really caring. Yeah, like when I talk about focusing more, some of the other stuff, and like I could talk for like hours about all the stuff I want to do, and some of it I'm trying to leave for like let's sort of on candy talk about, but some of the topics I really like to discuss is like where can Bench be investing more in culture? Where can we be investing more in making this a place that everyone wants to be a part of and make successful? Because that's what's going to make you successful. And I also put something in there about listening with empathy. Part of that is it's hard to listen with empathy without openness, right? Like if you aren't willing to actually listen to what's going on with someone, because everything needs to get filtered through like business properness, then like empathy is kind of lost. Like people become business automatons, right? And we're not business automatons, we're all humans. That's really the only real thing in life, right? We're all a bunch of humans, we're here together to do something. And we're out there helping other group of humans. And it's all just people. People need empathy. We need to like be a community and we need to work together as real people. Like as soon as we're pretending, it kind of just doesn't feel good anymore. Like it just feels off, right? Like I'm not sure if you've ever, we all have. Have you ever felt you had to ever be inauthentic or pretend something? Yes, absolutely. That is like a universal human experience of feeling like you have to like put up a face because it's not safe, whatever it is, whether it's school, whether it's with like, a family member or whatever. And as much as possible, like, let's try to make it so that people feel safe being themselves here, so that we can actually like have a good time building this crazy success story together. Like that's just really what it's all about. Sorry, I can continue rambling if you'd like to prompt me. Okay.
Sorry, I'm Casey.
Duncan.
So you kind of framed this a bit, which is useful in that last response. But so it can be really easy here to get isolated in your own workflow, and especially within your own team, because there isn't a demand for your workflow for interacting with other teams. So with this openness, because of course this is what we're shooting for, I was going to ask, so how should we leverage this? But you actually kind of said that. So say like 6 months from now, what would you like to see us as a department, like as Ops? How would we have changed the way we're working right now? With taking advantage of talking to Ops managers more, talking to like ATLs other than your own, reaching out to say like product for you. What do you see us making out of it? No internet.
Yeah, absolutely. This is all ideas, right? Well, there's two things actually. I mean, first.
Question?
Oh, sorry. The question. The question is, what would I like to? I'm going to start to paraphrase. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Using this new openness, what would I love to see in operations within 6 months? Like some tangible, like what would actually operate differently after we're doing this for 6 months? In tangible things, first I'd love to see, whether it's Canny or something else, and we'll try Canny, and maybe we're like, oh no, we won't use some other tool, but like really open and honest, like how, like people discussing, like how I would like this to work differently, right? I can have my opinions on like specific processes or specific things that can be done differently, but really the more powerful stuff, because you're in it every day, is someone here going like, why don't we just do it that way? And like sticking up that idea and being able to have that honest conversation. And so what I'd like to see in 6 months is just like an active, like new things getting implemented that are results of AAs, not just about like booking the process, but about how we work together as a team to do exactly the things that you mentioned. That would be really cool. The second thing is also understanding that it takes time to get there. There's a lot of processes, a lot of improvements that are going to take time to build, and like having patience with each other. That like, okay, we walk out here, we feel good, we're like, oh yeah, we're open now, and then like something happens, and like that wasn't very open. To be like, instead of the reaction being like, oh, that's hypocrisy, and how come it's that way, even though we said it's going to be a way, to go like, you know what? How do we actually just change that thing to be the way we want it to be? Let me throw out the thing that I didn't, like intention is one thing, but it just takes effort from all of us to like work through all the things that aren't working the way that we want it to. So that would be, I guess the two things. Okay.
Hello everybody, my name is Richard, I'm an AA in Keyboard. I'm just trying to be open and empathetic here as I talk about something that I want to change and make a difference. The thing I want to talk about today, since Benchmark is growing and changing so much, is client and internal contact information we have access to. I think we've all got transfer clients. I mean, we're client 40,000 something now, and a lot of people in the past have had other bookkeepers, and a lot of time that login information or phone numbers don't get changed. And I mean, I'm often in Ops Keep Up or Ops Team or Team Ops, and it's just, oh, like, what's this phone number, what's this email? I wrote a super sweet content article, and not everyone reads all the time. So, I just want to talk a little bit about how to find that information. So, finding the information you need. Cool. There are a couple ways just that I want to talk about. First is Ring Central, super great resource for finding either like an AA's name or email or their phone number. Basically just log in through Okta, click on Ring Central, just on the main page, you click on contacts, and often you get those last 4 digits of a phone number, especially if you're logging into Amazon or into a bank. just type those 4 numbers in when you hit the contacts page, and it will bring up every phone number at Bench that has those 4 phone numbers. Usually it's just 1 or 2 people. You shoot those people a Slack and be like, hey, can I shoot you an Amazon or a Chase code? They'll be like, yes, for sure, because I'm open, empathetic, and always willing to help, and the key processes are better. So Ring Central is great for finding emails and phone numbers. Another way to check, if that's not working, I call it old timers up here, but basically you can look back and do historic bookkeeping. Say you're a bookkeeper, you got a client in September. Maybe you should check who the bookkeeper was in August, and then you know what email you're looking for and the name of the past bookkeeper, because login's probably under that. Another way you can look up for things, if you are a hater on Ring Central, is just anytime you're logged in the Bench app, just go to bench.co/bk/team or team BK. Pretty much, it's just a long list of pretty much everyone that's ever worked at Bench. And so if you know that you're looking for an email that's like Lindsay plus like 18 stars at bench.co, just type in Lindsay. I mean, if they don't work here anymore, it might be their email, or if it's someone else's old client, you can check looking at the, what did I call it, old timers thing. You just find contact information that way. If these things don't work, Slack is a good last option and not a first choice for finding contact info. So I mean, if nothing else worked before, super easy to just hop on Slack after you've done your due diligence yourself and just say, hey, is this phone number or email? But I mean, just I think it's always best because I value my time and I value everyone else's. So I think, at least for me, I just encourage everyone else just to give it a crack yourself first. And after that, I mean, if you ever need access to an email that's not operational anymore, just file a ticket with IT, just in Confluence, say, hey, my ATL needs access to this email. Can you give them access? Scott and Ask will be like, yes. And then they will follow up. And they will follow up with you once, twice, and 3 times saying if you're done, and then when you ignore them like me, they'll just close the ticket. But don't be like me, be better. And then after you are into the account, just change the old login or phone number. I mean, I think most accounts now, especially for Amazon, like we're just making the ATL's phone number, but for like each login we can create, it's always just something within Bench. Whether it's like just making your ATL's email plus the business name, just make a new login so you don't have to deal with that in the future. Anyways, there is a super sweet Confluence page. It's called Unknown Email or Phone Number. You can find it here at this link that I hope you memorized. Right here. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's just like go to this Confluence page and here's how to use it. But you guys have any questions? Cool, I did so good. Anyways, thank you for listening. Cheers. Bye.
We'll just look at that for another. I mean, come on.
Hello. My name is Jeff, everybody. I am sort of the trials team lead. Sort of, because I'm only here for 2 more days, and Janelle's already stepping up to take over that. Thank you. Anyway, I am here to talk about 2 tasks that I've been responsible for, but aren't necessarily trial specific, and we're using me leaving as an opportunity to move these tasks to teams of people where it makes more sense for them to live. First one is Gusto and Stripe logins. Nadisha will be taking that over, so if you have any questions about if a Gusto or Stripe login has been created, Nadisha is your go-to. She's also the person who does handoff with new clients, so she's the login maestro. Second one is global rules. Donna does most of the categorizing these days, so global rules have become less important, but I was technically responsible for maintaining and making this list. We're moving this to Jacques because he doesn't have enough on his plate. There is a Jira ticket, so you can send in suggestions for updates to the list. Quick reminder though, Donna has priority over the global rules, so if Donna is doing categorization, updating the list isn't going to change that one. Cool. Thanks.
Hello. Okay, so I've got a list of things I can talk about. Alright, so this is a quality rollout. And that doesn't really mean much, but let's try and define it. So Bench lives in a dynamic world that's always changing. And sometimes the IRS changes their laws, and then we get changes to how we categorize the payment transactions. And other times, a company will change the reports, or they'll change how transactions show up in clients' bank accounts. And we need to be like reactive to that. And all of these things together, and also sometimes, as we grow older, we learn more things and more new things, so we learn how to do things better. So all these things together turns into quality of rollouts, which are like, how can we improve our bookkeeping processes to better satisfy our clients and operate in the environment that we live in. So that's a rollout. And they're going to occur once a month at this stand-up at the end, the last stand-up of every month until probably the end of the year. So you can take a time off, break taxes. Sorry. I've got like this giant list of everything that is like on my radar of things that might need to either be looked at or improved, or when we start doing these things differently. And I've posted this in Confluence already. I think it's called like 2018 quality rollouts. I'll link it later in the video to you guys. And you can just look at everything that I think is the most important that we need to address this year before the end of the year. And then I'll start tracking like which ones we're going to do, like which ones are checked off and which ones are still being worked on. All right. Now that we all know what a quality rollout is, this is what we're going to do this time. So we've got 5 things. And the first one is categorizing or adjusting to retained earnings. And this just means don't categorize transactions to retained earnings and don't make adjustments to retained earnings. There are, of course, like exceptions to this rule. Like when you're doing equity closing adjustments, you can do that. That's fine. I think in Confluence already they say, oh, you should do this when you're creating opening balances for your client. You should use retained earnings. And I'm like, yeah, you can do that. But if you're trying to figure out where to put a Starbucks transaction, you shouldn't put it in retained earnings. And if you're like, my client created a new, has this new loan that they want shown on their books, and it's May 28th, and I'm just going to add that in now, and I'm going to use retained earnings to add that into their books in the middle of bookkeeping scope. We definitely shouldn't do that. So there's an article here that will help you, give you some direction of where maybe you should put that kind of transaction, or maybe you should put that kind of adjustment. But of course, if you have more questions or it gets really client specific, you can submit tickets to me and I can help you solve that problem for your client. All right, Square payroll. Square, the merchant, has a payroll provider. It's not extremely that common. But they recently changed how transactions appear in our clients' bank accounts. They used to do 1 transaction every payroll period. Now they do 3 to 5 transactions, depending on how many states the employees are in for Square. So it's a little bit more complicated now. We got a new process for adjusting for Square payroll, and that will be going up today. But also, I might change that again later today. I might rewrite the article today and try and get a new one up, because there's a easier report for our clients to obtain. And if it's easier for our clients to obtain, we should probably try and use that report to make adjustments, because it's just easier to request, easier to obtain, quicker turnaround time to close. But the one that will be up right after this meeting uses the old Square payroll document, which is still available, but again, harder to obtain. I'll clarify this later, I'm sorry. This is so confusing. Okay, next one is Amazon unavailable balances with foreign currencies. So we all know that in the app, everything that we do should be in American dollars. And we also know that we have clients who have Amazon accounts that collect revenue and expenses in foreign currencies. And we have this foreign currency Amazon template that we use to just convert this to USD every time we need to do an adjustment. But what do you do when that Amazon account is holding a balance month after month? And this is it. We got a new Amazon template that will have foreign currency unavailable balance adjustments, and it will do currency conversions. The big thing you should know here is that if you have an Amazon account with foreign currencies and unavailable balances, please don't make Amazon adjustments every 2 weeks if there's no deposit into our client's bank account. You should only make the foreign currency adjustment when that foreign currency is deposited into our client's bank account. And the reason for this is very simple. Well, it's twofold. One is, once it's deposited, we get an exchange rate, so we can actually do it like an exchange rate and do a conversion. But the second is, you're not allowed to recognize gains or losses on conversion of currencies if you haven't actually transferred the funds to your like American account. So just be aware of that. Right, moving along. Future receivable loans. That's like, I don't know how to define this one, or like what the best word is to describe these types of loans. But they're different than regular loans, because regular loans will be like one transaction every month that we do an interest adjustment for, and we'll get like an amortization schedule maybe from a bank. But these future receivable loans will be like, we're going to deposit a bunch of funds in your bank account, and then you're going to pay us back every single day. And so you'll see like daily transactions from these loans, and or like weekly transactions from these loans. And it's like, instead of doing interest adjustments, 4 times a month or 30 times a month on each single transaction, we can just put it in a amortization template and calculate like all the interest for the month for all the transactions that occurred, and just do a really simple once a month interest adjustment, match the balances, and we're all good. There's 2 kinds of future receivable loans that I want to talk about. The first is the one that we can do an amortization schedule for, which is you get one deposit into the bank account from the loan provider, and then every single payment back to the loan is the same number. So the payment amount is always the same. We can do an amortization schedule for that. The second one is when the payment amount is a percentage of sales. You guys might know this as like Square Capital loans or PayPal working capital, but there's more than just Square and PayPal that will do this. So we just bump them all together. In that case, the treatment is just do the interest adjustment right when the funds are deposited to our client's bank account. Okay, last one, Groupon exceptions. We do merchant adjustments for Groupon, and there's sometimes when we can't get the information from Groupon to actually do an adjustment for their revenue. There's 2 cases here. The first case is when the amount that's listed in the buy price is lower than the amount that's listed in the your take column. This is like getting very technical now. But what that means in layman's terms is that the gross revenue is lower than the net revenue, and that doesn't really make any sense. And I don't know why it doesn't make any sense, but I've seen it with a couple clients. So if that happens, just don't do any adjustments, because then you'd be doing like a negative merchant fee adjustment. I don't think that's correct. The second one is when the installment percentage is missing. There'll be a guide in Confluence that'll be like, you should try and follow these steps, because sometimes when the installment percentage is missing, it actually means that's a 1. And sometimes when the installment percentage is missing, it just means that it's like some random variable that no one knows, and we shouldn't try to guess at like what that variable is. All right, that's all for rollout. You guys can expect an email from me later today about all these things.
We are 15 minutes over time, partially due to my poor agenda planning. Let's do maybe a vote with our feet. If you guys have a call or you want to kind of head back down to your desk, feel free to do so. Otherwise, let's continue to do the demo for folks who are still available to stay. Alternately, we also have a stand-up on Monday, so if everybody clears out this coming Monday, we could do the demo then. We'll do like a 2-minute. If nobody leaves, then we'll carry on as planned.
tool is. I think we've shared the designs with quite a few AAs already, but for anyone who's not familiar with the project, it's essentially us building a tool in the app to replace the current MERT that you guys use at the moment. The reason we decided to undertake this project was because we looked at the MERT and we noticed that there's a bunch of efficiency baked into the process. Number one, because you guys have to figure out what you have to check. Number two, because it's done in Excel and you have to context switch between Excel and the app to perform the review. I think that means it's just also generally probably prone to more manual error, and it means it's very difficult for us to track what MERTs have been done in the past for clients too, right? So what did we want to do? We wanted to reduce the time that it takes you guys to do the actual review process. A couple of ways that we're attacking this. We want to only present checks that are actually relevant to your clients in the tools, so that you guys don't have to figure out what checks you actually need to do as a start. And we also want to enable multi-month reviews. So if you have a client, you've got a couple of months, they're giving you documents for a couple of months, and you can now go through a few months worth of reviews. The tool will enable you to do reviews spanning multiple months, and I'm sure Kat will appreciate that too. We also want to just increase the general effectiveness of the checks that you're doing by providing you with links to other relevant parts of the app for you to do the checks, and making the wording clearer. So a big caveat, the new checks look nothing like the ones that you guys are used to seeing right now. They are worded completely differently, they've been bundled together differently, and it's all been done with the approval, stamp approval from QS and Jacques and several other team leads. So you don't have to worry about that. We've reduced the total number. I think with the MERT, if you were to look at absolutely everything, you get about 200-ish checks. We've dwindled that down to about 120 now. So there are just less checks in general. And I'll show you what the tool currently looks like right now in its current state. It's still being built, but we've made decent progress, and we're hoping to get our first version in beta testing next month. So hopefully. So this is my Ops Academy test month. You guys see that? So this is looking at a period of 1 month, 2017, when I did Ops Academy, and you can see that you've got a bunch of checks, and there's links to different parts of the app. So you can click on those links and it breaks out the place that you actually need to go perform the check in a brand new tab. I guess that's not what real clients look like, is it? So, you can pass, you can fail the checks, you
can fail that one.
Sorry?
You can fail the balance check.
I think we've also mentioned recently that we've been adding the ability to link transactions to add-ons. That's to enable us to do some cool things in our reviews come the time. So now this is filtering the list of add-on checks that you need to perform based on add-ons that actually exist for your client, number one. In the future, we want to make it so that we also just show you the adjustments in line that you actually need to go review. And I'll just switch to the designs to show you what that will look like. So you'll just see them there. The transaction checks is essentially the GL portion of the review that you do right now. And again, another caveat that you'll still be using the GL to perform that portion of the review most likely, but we will make it possible to link to the list of transactions for the relevant period for each ledger that actually has transactions in it. So the list of checks that you hopefully have to work through is much more shorter. So this exists right now. We're still working on it. There's a bunch of other features we need to have. We want, when you submit a review, to figure out what the review status is based on all the check statuses that you've applied. An update flow, as either this review is completed, this review is completed with some outstanding information, or maybe it needs revision. We're also going to make it so that you see a history of all the reviews that have been done for your client in the past, so you can look back and you can see what the statuses of each month was when those reviews were done. few other things too, yes, and checks and other things to figure out, but get there. Does anyone have any question? Are we excited? We're doing some testing with some EAAs of the tool as it currently is today to gather some early feedback. Like I said, next month we'll probably start formulating our rollout plan for the beta testing.